round 9 of this unique 2020 Formula 1 season sees us staying in Italy for another week. No, we're not staying at Monza, we are going to Mugello, which a track where F1 cars have tested in the past, but never raced there under Grand Prix conditions. So this is going to be a very interesting weekend to see the very first race at the Mugello Grand Prix circuit. It's going to be rather interesting to see how all the teams do. Are we going to see a thrilling race like we've seen back in Monza? Or is it going to be just another Mercedes dominant show? Now, in case you did miss the race last week in Italy, it was just incredible how it all unfolded. So Pierre Gasly was your Grand Prix race winner in the AlphaTauri. It was just, I still can't get over how mad that race was. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. Even though that Hamilton was looking like he was going to run away with it, I was still enjoying the two McLarens in P2 and P3. I'm a McLaren fan at the end of the day, so I've got to enjoy something. But no, it was a brilliant race. You know, Carlos Sainz in P2, Lance Stroll in P3, Lewis Hamilton and Giovinazzi both had them 10-second stop-go penalties for pitting while the pit lane was closed. Are we going to see a similar sort of drama this weekend? Very unlikely. I mean, there's a possibility because it is a new track. We don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to expect from the cars in terms of performances. Mercedes, I'm expecting to be there, but in terms of other teams, I really don't know if I'm being totally honest with you. But nevertheless, let's kick off our race previews like we normally do. And of course, the first one of this new track that's been added onto the F1 2020 calendar. The first race that was not on the original 2020 calendar when it was released at the end of last year. We always do a onboard lap with a bit of a difference. We've got a Formula E car for you guys this weekend, courtesy of Dan from F1E Reviews. Thank you so much, Dan, for doing these laps. Doing it on the new Project Cars game, I believe he did. So, very exciting to see what that game is like, of course, mixed reviews and that. So here we are then, a lap of Mugello on board with a Formula E car.
We head to Italy for the second time, and this should be a very special race for Scuderia Ferrari as they head into their 1000th Grand Prix in Formula 1. They entered in the 1950 Monaco Grand Prix, and through 999 races, they are now going to be entering their 1000th at the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix. Should be packed full of adoring tifosi to celebrate the Italian team and all that they have done through their Constructors and Drivers' World Championships over the years. There will be a few tifosi in there. I'm glad there wasn't in Monza, because that was a train wreck. And after Ferrari's performance in Belgium, in Monza, and not just taken from those two races, really the season, it's not looking good for Scuderia Ferrari. But instead of looking at the bad side, what they have achieved is so much. They have achieved 16 Constructors' World Championships, 15 Drivers' World Championships, and 237 wins, 38% of whom were from the German driver Michael Schumacher. Of course, they have a massive legacy in Formula 1, one of the most successful teams in our sport. It is going to be a great race. Now, Scuderia Ferrari are going to be releasing a brand new livery around a day before the race. At time of recording, they haven't released one yet, but they might have done for Friday and, of course, the weekend in Tuscany. The SF1000 is to celebrate all that Scuderia Ferrari and Italian Formula 1 is about, even though they haven't had the performance. Monza was a terrible result for them. Qualifying, we don't really know the result, but they were just not, they were lacking the pace. Sebastian Vettel finished 14 positions behind the man who's going to be taking his seat, Carlos Sainz, in the 2021 season. Charles Leclerc managed to get into the next qualifying session, but again fell short of the Ferrari's performance. And then again in the race, double brake failures, and of course it ended quite badly for Charles Leclerc, going off at the Parabolica in a big impact. Of course, he was okay, but the SF1000 with brake problems for two of those drivers, lacking performance, heading into their 1000th Grand Prix, it is not looking good. But we are in Tuscany. We are in a track that they also use alongside Farina as a test track. We're heading into Mugello, a track that they have used before for testing and things like that. So maybe it'll be a good track. Maybe Ferrari have a bit of an inside curve. And unlike Monza, it's lacking straight. It's very Suzuka-ish. It's very tight, and there's gravel everywhere. So it's a very, I would say it's a very different track to Suzuka. It is a shame that Ferrari are in this position, but as I say, it's going to be good for their 1000th Grand Prix. Now, we are expecting some Tifosi to be entering the track. Of course, Italian residents, as the borders are still shut, and obviously no international travel is allowed. So we are expecting some Italian fans to be there. In Monza, we did have a fluctuation of some Italian fans that were in watching the race, even though really they weren't in the grandstands, they were just watching from inside the track. We were expecting some of that in Mugello, and hopefully some of the Italian action after the race, but we'll have to see how they do. The performance of Sebastian and Charles Leclerc hasn't improved really. They are still very drained from what happened in Monza, but heading into the 1000th Grand Prix, it should be a lift for the team. Matteo Binotto has come out and said that he is excited for this weekend, though he's not expecting the best results for his two cars. He is expecting better results from Monza. As I say, it's a different track and a track that they use alongside testing, so hopefully Ferrari can get something in the bag. Let us know in the comment section. Do you think Ferrari will be able to score points, and do you think that they'll be able to rectify their problems from Monza? Simon Roberts has been appointed the CEO and acting team principal of Williams Racing. Now, after the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, Claire and Sir Frank Williams stood down from the team. It was the first time that the Williams name has not been either the CEO or the team principal of Williams Racing since 1977, since the team was founded by Sir Frank Williams. It was a very emotional time for the two people involved. Of course, Sir Frank and Claire both involved in the running of the organisation of Williams, and Claire Williams being the acting team principal. She took over at the start of the V6 era. It was a bit of a shaky start for her, but she still ran the team very well. A good ambassador for women in motorsport, and really, you know, still leading that team in a good direction. Of course, remember the early V6 days up until around 2016, 2017, the team was very strong. It's just been the last few years, chucked in a few with financial problems and things like that. The team hasn't been going too well. So they have appointed a new team principal alongside the CEO, Mike O'Driscoll, who has retired from the team. He will be vacating, again with a new foothold from DeLorean Capital, which to me is a cross between DeLorean and Joe Linton. I can't say it, I must say Joe Linton. Capital, who are taking over the team, the US Financial Capital Company, will be taking over Williams and hopefully leading them in the right direction in terms of finance and hopefully higher up positions on the Formula 1 grid. It was a good send-off in Monza. Both George Russell and Nicholas Latifi given some pretty heartwarming messages to Claire and Sir Frank for the team and everything they've done, alongside former drivers such as Mercedes driver Valtteri Bottas, who of course drove for the team and was promoted there from in 2016 to of course Mercedes for the next year. He popped around the team and of course said his final goodbyes to the team. It was a good send-off for the team. It was unfortunate they couldn't score points. They were running in points positions until around the end of the race, which of course they were demoted out of. But it was a good send-off for Williams, and we do hope them the best going forward. And the last thing on the news is McLaren are the second team this year to have both drivers on the podium. Only Mercedes have done that alongside them. Of course, they have had Lewis and Valtteri, who have swapped positions, winning the race and being on the podium in every round, bar Monza. And of course, Lando Norris was on the podium in the Austrian Grand Prix, and then now Carlos Sainz makes it a double McLaren podium, and the second team to do this, as he takes the podium in second position in Monza. Absolutely incredible for McLaren. They're definitely moving on the rise. Lando Norris has praised the car and praised the team for the strong performance that they've been showing. Even though they're leaving Renault at the end of the season, that Renault power is still very strong in that car, and he is he's looking good for the rest of the season with that Renault power unit. But again, with all their performances for the end of this year and going into next year, along with the strong holding of Andreas Seidel and Zach Brown, and of course getting Daniel Ricciardo involved next year, it is looking very good for the team. And McLaren, in my eyes, I know in Jordan's eyes and in a lot of people's eyes, they are the team that are excelling so fast in F1. Don't take your eyes off them. And the final thing to mention as well is AlphaTauri. Of course, Pierre Gasly takes his first win in Formula 1 at the 2020 Italian Grand Prix. Incredibly special for him. The AlphaTauri car is so strong with the Honda power unit. The less can be said about Red Bull, the better. Max Verstappen, of course, having engine retirement problems in that car. And Alexander Albon, no real problems for him, but again, just lacking performance, again, alongside Max and the performances in that car. But apart from Red Bull's performance, the Honda engine is still looking powerful around Monza for the AlphaTauris, and again, even the support races through that weekend. Hopefully Mugello can be a change for Honda. And that, of course, leads me on to then the predictions. And again, I'm going quite similar to what I did in Monza. And that, of course, leads me on to the prediction. As I just said there, Monza is a very different circuit to Mugello. Mugello, not really high speed. The DRS seems to be playing into, better, less dirty air, hopefully more overtaking as well, but a very tight track. To be honest, kind of Suzuka-esque. It's a Suzuka of Europe in that sense. So, before we go into the predictions, we've got to let you know, of course, about the prediction league. Now, we have been running this since Belgium last year. It's been incredibly popular. We get around 40 people entering, I think maybe even more than that, over on Twitter and all of our social medias. Also, it's very simple. We ask for your top three in order, so of course, who's going to win the race, second place and third place, and the fastest lap, who of course gets one additional point in the race. We ask for that. You let us know through either commenting under this video or letting us know on our social medias, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. And you'll be entered into our prediction league, of course, completely for free. We'll tell you the results after what happens on Sunday and let you know in the next few days after the race on social media where you are in the table. So just comment underneath your top three and your fast lap, and you'll be entered into the prediction league. You have until the start of qualifying. So the green light in qualifying is when we are closing the entrance. So you have until then to make your predictions. You have the advantage over me and Jordan as well, because you can see all three practice sessions before we do. We are making them on today, obviously the day before FP1 even starts, so you definitely have an advantage over us, even though Monza definitely was not an inclination about what would happen to Mercedes, Red Bull, and even McLaren showing their pace. I guess you could have said McLaren, but definitely not Red Bull or Mercedes. Now, I wanted to say that, Brazil 2019, Germany 2019, we had a good race. People different on the podium, different winners. It was incredible to see. I mean, even Germany, we had Fiat on the podium, Sebastian Vettel, and Max Verstappen, but it was still a very entertaining race. Lance Stroll in fourth place, and we had some great outfield positions. And of course, Brazil 2019, Carlos Sainz on the podium alongside Pierre Gasly, both maiden podiums for them, and of course very special for McLaren. 4 years since they got a podium, and Pierre Gasly demoted from Red Bull and his first podium, alongside of course his old teammate Max Verstappen, who won the race. And then afterwards, so Abu Dhabi 2019, and then we just went back to standard races. So I'm not predicting anything special, anything outstanding. I'm not expecting a Latifi win or anything like that, even though I definitely do think those three drivers had incredible races. Nothing to take away from them, and I do expect strong results from them, especially Pierre Gasly, who will be on the charge, not just because the Honda engine is strong, but I've told you it is a good car. We are also a little bit at altitude as well, which definitely will help the performance of the engine if Brazil is anything to play by. But again, also the performance of Pierre Gasly, he will be so strong and going out there on a bang, because I say he just won the race, which will definitely help you to get in the zone. So let's start off with my predictions in third place, and I'm going to be going for, in third place, a man who will be getting his first podium in Formula 1, and that is Alex Albon. It seems like such a long time since I've said that guy's name. Very close in Brazil, very close in Austria. Collided with the same man. It's not going very well for him in that way. Hopefully he can stay out the way of Lewis Hamilton. But I do definitely think that. I mean, of course, you can probably see which direction it's going to go in, as soon as I say this guy. But that Red Bull car is going to look strong around here. Now, of course, again, it's only inclinations. We've never been to Mugello before. But as I've just said there, it's very tight. Overtaking will be a must, but it will still be harder to do than it was in Monza. A tighter track, gravel everywhere. It seems like a track where that chassis and the Honda engine will pay off very well in that race. Very tight, left, right, really fast. And yeah, as I say, if it's very similar to Suzuka, very similar to tracks that are tighter to do, then that Red Bull chassis should do very, very well. Also with Alex as well, very much like Valtteri Bottas, he is under the cusp about being the second place driver, and also he is now under the cusp even more so, if not probably 99% scared, because of course Pierre Gasly won. All the talk is going to be of Pierre Gasly. Get him the hell back to Red Bull, get him back there. What is he doing? Why have we done this? I mean, Red Bull must be thinking, or maybe some of them are thinking, what have we done? So he's probably scared. It's a bit like, knowing you're going to be in trouble at school, but you're not sure if you're going to be in trouble. It's like some of the teachers sitting going, should we give him detention, should we not? And then you're just thinking, I hope they don't. Alex is definitely that kid at the back who hasn't done his homework, and he's just scared that the teacher is going to pick on him. He is scared because he's thinking, I'm going to get demoted here. I'm going to get moved back, and Pierre is going to come up. And from that, he is going to be working so hard to do a good performance this weekend. Pierre is going to be strong. He's not going to get on the top step of the podium. There's obviously nothing guaranteed, but I'm going to say 99% sure he's not going to be on the top step of the podium. It is a shame, but he's not going to be. It's most likely going to be one of the top teams again, unless, of course, we do have a Monza result. But as I said to Jordan many times, that's like me saying, I'm going to buy a mansion next week when I win the lottery, but first I've got to win the lottery. You can't bang on that. So Alex is going to be kind of scared about what's happened, about Pierre Gasly, and the talk about him going back to Red Bull. So in this way, he is going to work so hard to make sure that that's not right, and he gets the best result, and he beats Pierre Gasly. He's definitely on track for his first podium for sure, and I think he's gone a little bit under the radar. Again, just seeing from Formula 1 last week, it was saying who was going to get their first podiums, and it was going, the first podiums of 2020, and it was going Sainz, it was going Gasly, it was going Stroll. It wasn't going in the way of Albon. He is in the Red Bull car, the second fastest team. If anything, the fourth fastest driver, you should be anyways, in Formula 1. So there we go, third place, Alex Albon. In second place, I'm going to be going for Max Verstappen. Again, very similar to Alex, of course, that car is very, very strong. Max is the leader of the team, very strong, the leader. And again, like Lewis Hamilton, he's got a very good bounce-back mentality. It wasn't his fault, of course, but what happened in Monza, retirement with an engine problem, will have definitely annoyed him. Red Bull have had a very mixed relationship with Monza. Normally they take their engine penalties there, start at the back of the grid. It was a good performance by Max in 2019's edition, come from the back of the grid to, I think it was P6 or P7. But of course, last weekend, taking no penalties, Max just didn't have the car under him. He was struggling around the race before he retired, and then of course getting the retirement, unfortunately, from the car. Again, very much like I said with Belgium last year, he will not like that, and it will have obviously affected him mentally. No points from that, and of course a very bad weekend for Red Bull. And the news now that Adrian Newey has said that he's going to be devoting more time to designing a better car for Red Bull in 2021. I think Max is going to be there and try and be stronger and try and win the race, but the man I'm going to say in first place is just going to tip him. Now, Monza, you have given us the biggest jinx of all time. Putting out that photo on Saturday, that was basically Twitter's dream. Playing the graphics when he parked into Parc Fermé in qualifying, saying Lewis has taken his 90th victory in Formula 1. What a jinx. What is that? So maybe you should play Sebastian Vettel takes his 53rd win, because that's not going to happen, and that's a jinx, even though no one will believe that. And of course, that's the man I think will win. Lewis Hamilton for sure, 90th win I'm expecting. Now, this isn't anything to do with having to go with Ferrari. You might be thinking I'm just saying that, so Lewis can, beat the Ferraris, have a go at them and say, this is your home race or your 1000th Grand Prix, and I'm the one who's just said, whatever the swear words are in Italy, and I've just messed that up. I don't think that. I just think that, again, very much like what we've said before with Britain and things like that, He's got an incredible bounce back mentality. Even though that Mercedes car might not be the best at tight tracks such as Suzuka, such as Austria, such as Budapest, of course have won before, and that Red Bull will definitely be a challenge, but I do think that Mercedes will be incredibly strong. Given the strengths by Lewis Hamilton to get his 90th win, and then again the next weekend in Sochi, take his 91st victory where he'll match Michael Schumacher. Again, there's not much to say on Lewis Hamilton. I just think that he will go out there and he will take the victory. We all say that Lewis, it was good that he had the penalty last weekend. And again, from an insider point, from a midfield point, that might have been true, because we saw incredible driving from Lewis to go from the back of the grid, from his 10-second stop-go penalty, to 7th place and the fastest lap. You can't really fathom what that's like. I know we've seen comeback drives like that before, ergo Spain 2012 from himself, and of course a very special one for me, Sebastian Vettel in 2012, coming from the back of the grid to finish on the podium. But again, that's in so special around Monza, which is a hard track to overtake, the DRS not really playing into effect. And again, alongside a midfield who were very, very strong, he finished in P7, 2 positions below his teammate who had no problems and fell from P2. It's absolutely incredible. So Lewis, for sure, the winner of the 2020 Tuscan, the inaugural Tuscan Grand Prix in 2020. Fastest lap, I'm going to be saying Lewis again. He got the fastest lap on Sunday. Very special from him. So there we go. That is my top 3. Alexander Albon, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. As I just mentioned there, let us know in the comment section below your top 3 and fastest lap, and you'll be entered into our prediction league. John, what is your top 3 for the Tuscan Grand Prix, the inaugural Grand Prix? I've said my piece. Red Bull will be incredibly strong, but Mercedes will take it. What is your top 3 and why?
Some decent predictions there from Lyle. So my top 3. Right. Of course, we got it completely wrong last week for obvious reasons. Now, where do I start? Let's go for P3, Valtteri Bottas. Now, Bottas for me is very underperforming in 2020. He had a really good start, getting pole position and the race win at Austria. But since then, that's as good as it got, unfortunately, for the Finnish driver. He's finished in P2, P3. He's been just some average performances, and really, realistically, he should have won the race in Monza with Hamilton being demoted because of the penalty, and then Bottas should have been there to more than capable of fighting off the cars that were around him, AlphaTauri's, Racing Points, and the McLarens. It should have been done, but it wasn't done. Now, there was rumours that Bottas did sustain some damage during his lap to the grid. So, again, there was a bit of a rumour about that. He claimed on team radio that there was something wrong with the car, that he had a puncture or whatever, something had broke, and that's what hindered his performances. Whether that is true or not, I really don't know. But nevertheless, even despite that, it still hasn't been a really good year for Valtteri Bottas. He's just doing what he needs to do, really, which is just play second fiddle to Lewis Hamilton. But I'm not expecting good things from Bottas, or just average things. I'm not really expecting him to go on to win this race. And yeah, just a typical P3 for Valtteri Bottas. In P2, I'm going to go on a limb, right? I'm going to go left of the field, and I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton. Now, I don't want to make my predictions the same every single week. Do I honestly truly believe Hamilton will finish in P2? No. I'm just trying to be a bit different with my predictions. Just instead of saying the top 3 every single time. Because it is a bit of fun at the end of the day. That's all the prediction league really is. And our predictions as well. It's just a bit of fun. Hamilton. Now, of course, he could easily go for the 90 wins. If he had won in Monza, he would have been able to match Michael Schumacher's record all time of F1 wins of 91, but he didn't win last week, so he is going to have to go for the 90th at this week. Is he going to do it? More than likely, but I'm going to go on a limb and maybe say that, I don't know, maybe that Mercedes car isn't really as good in that particular part of the track. I'm just going off a limb. I really do believe he will win. I'm just trying to make some sort of excuse. I can't really think of anything, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm just going to go for P2, Lewis Hamilton. Maybe he has a puncture, or he spins, or I don't know, just something. Anything, I don't know. It's very unlikely, because normally when Hamilton has a bad race, for whatever reason that is, whether that's himself or mechanical problem, he normally bounces back with a dominant performance, pole position, race win, fastest lap, led every lap, whitewash from Lewis Hamilton. But let's go for P2 this week. P1, Max Verstappen. I think Max Verstappen is due a win. Now, yeah, the Red Bull car, it's not where Max wants it to be at the end of the day. He came out this week, and I covered this on F1 24/7 News, basically being quite critical of the car, which we already know, but we already know how poor that car is this season. In terms of the aero side of things, it's very tricky to handle, very twitchy. Max he's got used to it, which you can see at the start of the season he was struggling just a little bit, but as the seasons went on, you can see that Verstappen's kind of almost became one, but it's not quite there yet. And Verstappen being the driver that he is, he's got full control of that car. Albon, on the other hand, of course, is struggling, but Red Bull have came out and explained their reasons why that could be. And I've already said this about 1,000 times. I'm not going to repeat it in this episode. No, I want to see Verstappen win this week. I do want to see someone different win. Like, Gasly was a complete shock. Was that on the cards? No, not a hope in hell's chance. Lewis Hamilton could have easily won that race. He should have won that race, but hey, what had happened had happened. And I just think of a Verstappen win. Will that car suit the track like Mugello? I mean, it's kind of, you got that in the intersection of the twisty bit, which could suit the Red Bull just a little bit. But then when it comes to the straight line stuff, Mercedes more than likely will be edging that just a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But I'm just going to go on a limb, save Max Verstappen for the race win. I don't think that will happen. It would be nice for it to happen, but I think it is very, very unlikely. But guys, actually, just before I go, fastest lap. Let's go for... Who are we going for here? Let's go for Lewis Hamilton, fastest lap. No reason why, just, Lewis Hamilton for fastest lap. That's my top three. Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton for fastest lap. Unlikely that will happen, but hey, we'll have to wait and see on that front. And of course, leave your predictions in the comment section below. As always, like Lyle explained, how to enter our prediction league. But guys, thank you so much for watching as always. If you are new around here, then please like and subscribe as well. Got more videos coming out for you guys this week on the F1 Debate Show, so stick around for that. Can't wait for you guys to see what we've got coming up this weekend. And of course next week when it is a non-race week. Our schedule does change a little bit. But guys, like I said earlier, thank you so much for watching. Watch what you're doing. Stay safe as always. And until next time, I'll see you later.